So is NIO stock really the next Tesla, destined for greatness, or is this just a giant bubble that is getting ready to explode in the faces of millions of investors worldwide? So in case you've been hiding under a rock, the past few weeks, NIO stock has been going absolutely parabolic. I mean, the gains have been astronomical, especially if you were fortunate enough to be one of the early investors who got in around the $2 range, which by the way was just 4 short months ago when it was trading at about $2.65. So what in the world is going on, and does this hype train actually have real legs to stand on, or is this bound to lose steam and fade away into obscurity? After doing hours and hours of extensive research on this company, I found a ton of information that absolutely blew my mind and that I'm super excited to share with you guys. And on top of that, some massive news literally just came out today that could have massive implications on this company going forward. So if you're considering buying or selling this stock, you're going to definitely want to watch this video fully before making that decision. Also, I'd appreciate an early thumbs up as it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And real quick, I just want to say that the growth on this channel this month has been absolutely incredible, and I am so humbled by all the support you guys have been giving me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I love making these videos for you guys. But with that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. And as always, I respect your guys' time, so I'm going to try to fit as much valuable information in as little time as possible. So here's the format. First, we're going to take a very quick look at what NIO actually does and who they are, as well as what has caused the massive increase in its stock price. Second, we're going to cover whether the hype is warranted or not. And does NIO really have a chance at being the next Tesla? And spoiler alert, my answer is going to surprise you. And finally, we're going to end it off with some massive news that just came out today and my thoughts on whether you should be buying, holding, or selling this stock. So I'm pumped to share this information with you guys, so let's get started. So first, what does NIO actually do and who are they? So their name in Chinese literally translates to blue sky coming, which is their guiding philosophy and stands for their commitment to a brighter tomorrow, which coincides well with their products since they manufacture luxurious vehicles and are headquartered in Shanghai, China. Now I have to give it to them. Their branding is on point, definitely comes off very high end, and it feels almost like a lifestyle brand, similar to what Apple and Tesla have built with their brand and legion of die-hard followers. And now the main reason the stock went absolutely parabolic a few weeks ago is because despite everything that is happening in the world today with the Rona situation, NIO exceeded all expectations, including their own estimates, when they reported that in Q2, they were able to deliver a total of 10,331 vehicles, up over 191% from just being 3,553 in the second quarter of the last year. So these numbers are absolutely incredible when you think about it, especially the fact that they were able to not only meet guidance, but exceed it and nearly tripled deliveries for this quarter year over year. Also, the fact that they were able to pull this off with a global pandemic ongoing and increased competition from Tesla themselves, don't get it twisted. This is no small feat. This is a major W for NIO.
You know, they try to count me out. How you try to count me out? And it's impossible because I've always won.
So now for the good stuff, let's get into part 2 of this video. Is all the hype actually warranted, and are they really the next Tesla? Also, for those of you who might be new to my channel or not too familiar with my videos, I am a huge Tesla bull, and in fact, they are now by far my largest position in my portfolio, even recently beating out my Amazon position, which I've held for many years now. So with that being said, this might surprise you, but the more research I did into NIO, the more bullish I became, and the more I believe the hype is warranted. Let me explain. So first, let me make clear that I do not have an ounce of doubt in my body that Tesla will absolutely dominate the EV market worldwide for the next 10 plus years and will become the first company to offer fully autonomous driving, which will open them up to a whole new stratosphere of opportunities. But with that being said, I am also 100% certain of something else, that Tesla will not be the only big electric vehicle manufacturer in the game. And if you think China is going to allow Tesla an American company, to eat up all of the EV market share in China, you are absolutely crazy. And in case you didn't know, China's electric vehicle market is about 3 to 4 times that of the US. And China's goal is to have 60% of all new auto sales be electric by 2035. So just imagine the massive opportunity that NIO has in China alone without the need to even expand to other countries, which they do plan on doing later down the road anyways. But more importantly, China has a long history of favoring Chinese companies over American companies and doing anything necessary to make them win. And you don't have to look far to see examples of this. Just look at what happened with Huawei, who now holds 42% of the smartphone market in China, compared to Apple, who owns a measly 5% of that market. And Huawei was able to achieve such dominance over Apple largely because they received a ton of special treatment from the Chinese government in the form of easy access to financing and high levels of government-sponsored grants and subsidies. Also, now would be a perfect time to mention that earlier this year, right before when NIO was at the brink of bankruptcy, the Chinese government basically bailed them out with a $1 billion investment from several state-owned companies in Hefei in return for NIO to agree to establish its headquarters in the city's economic development hotspot, and in return for a 24% stake in NIO. So this is not a company that the Chinese government will even allow to fail at this point, because they own a significant stake in the company themselves. So now that we established that the market opportunity is clearly there and it's massive, what about their tech? So one of the most intriguing differences between NIO and Tesla is that NIO enables its customers to literally swap out their car's battery whenever they're low on juice. So imagine this. Instead of driving to a supercharger station and having to wait over an hour for your Tesla to be fully charged, if you own one of NIO's cars, you would instead drive to a battery swapping station, and since all of their cars have batteries that are easily interchangeable, literally the whole process only takes 6 minutes and it's completely free, which is just badass. So basically, with one of their cars, you never have to pay for gas or even electricity, and you can always have a new fresh battery installed for free. Now this marketing strategy is absolutely genius in my opinion, and it's clearly working extremely well for them in attracting new customers, and it reminds me of what Tesla did early on when they were offering unlimited free supercharger stations to win over customers. Also, while there's no disputing that Tesla's tech is clearly superior in almost every way, when you compare some of the core specs of the ES8 to the Model X with both fully loaded, the Model X is coming in at over $30,000 more expensive than the ES8. So I can see the ES8 swaying away a lot of customers who are more price sensitive and who don't necessarily care about having the most spec'd out car possible, and who mostly just want a good looking luxurious electric vehicle that will save them a ton of money on gasoline and be better for the environment. Now another major difference is the fact that Tesla is vertically integrated, meaning that they build most of the parts for their cars, including the battery, power electronics, and drivetrain systems all in-house, which gives them a massive competitive advantage because they don't have to rely on a multitude of suppliers, and this helps to reduce costs drastically. Compare that to NIO, who currently does not own its own factories and instead outsources the manufacturing to a company called JAC Motors, which they have to pay a fee for every vehicle that comes off the line. And to top it off, just this year, Volkswagen stated that it intends to buy a 50% stake in JAC Motors' parent company. So I definitely see this as a potential future risk for NIO, because Volkswagen could potentially apply pressure to JAC to prioritize their vehicles. But this is why I think the news that came out today could be an absolute game changer for NIO going forward. So let's get right into it for part 3 of this video, which is what news came out today and my thoughts on whether you should be buying, holding, or selling this stock. So as I'm recording this video on Friday night, NIO just announced a massive news that they were able to secure an additional $1.5 billion in credit from several domestic banks. And remember, this is on top of the $1 billion they already received from the government just a few months ago. So any concerns about them having liquidity issues anytime soon are just thrown out the window at this point. Now, they haven't specified what they plan on doing with the line of credit yet, but I'd love to see them start investing it into building their own factory, and in doing so, removing major dependencies on third parties such as JSC. I think if they were able to pull this off, it would send the stock soaring to a whole other stratosphere, because then they would be more in control of their destiny and their cost, and would have a much clearer path to profitability in the long term. And this is definitely something important to keep in mind, is the fact that NIO is not yet profitable and reported a net loss of $238 million in Q1 of this year, which was actually a 40% decrease over the same time last year, which is really impressive, honestly, that they were able to decrease their losses significantly, especially considering that the whole month of January, during the first quarter, all of China was pretty much under one of the strictest lockdowns ever imposed on any country due to the Rona. Plus, we all know it took even Tesla a really long time to become profitable. But now that they figured it out, look how that's working out for them now. So I'm not too concerned with NIO not being profitable right now, but I do want to see them making consistent improvements to their margins, and I think one of the best ways for them to do that for the long term would be to take over manufacturing of their cars by building their own factory. But that's still to be seen if they do end up deciding to go that route. So in conclusion, after all of my research and the fact that even after the drastic increase in its stock price, NIO's market cap is only sitting at around 18 billion, which heck, even Nikola, who has no products and no sales, is currently sitting at a market cap of almost 20 billion. So while this is a riskier play for sure, I do believe the risk reward on this one is still very attractive, especially if you're a long-term investor and willing to hold for the next 3 to 5 years. Because while this stock will likely be up and down in the short term, I can see this company, a company like NIO, in the long term, easily having a market cap of $100+ billion. Just with capturing the Chinese market alone, which if they are able to pull that off, would be a 5x return on our money. And with the Chinese government now backing them in a major public way, I can't see a scenario where they fail to acquire a significant portion of the EV market share in China. So all these reasons combined along, and especially with the fact that they were able to deliver 10,000 plus vehicles in the second quarter alone while facing a global pandemic, has made me feel very bullish on their long-term potential, and I will definitely be starting a position in this company within the next couple of days. Now, this will definitely be a smaller position for me because there are significant risks, as I mentioned, as well as the growing China-US tensions. But at the end of the day, I see the potential for massive upside as far outweighing the long-term risk with this stock, especially since I plan on holding for several years. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you found any value in this video at all, and I hope you did, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notifications bell. Also, I love talking to you guys, and I always reply to every single comment, so let me know your thoughts on NIO, and let me know what stocks you want me to talk about next in the comment section below. Also, if you're interested in getting 2 free stocks worth up to $1,400, check out my WeBull links in the description box below. But as always guys, especially if you watched until this point in the video, you are the real MVP. I have so much love for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. Peace.